What's going on, fam? This is Raul from QBN Kennel. On a cold day here in Cleveland, Texas. Colder than what we used to most of the time anyways. I bet you people up north or whatnot probably look at our weather right now. It's probably about, I want to say about 48, 49 degrees. I bet you guys would laugh, but for us here, it's kind of cold. It's nice and wet. Either way, fam, let's get on it today. What's the topic? Well, I'd like to talk to you about what happens when you breed and you don't get what you were supposed to get. What happens when you breed and the quality of the litter isn't what it's supposed to be? What are you supposed to do with that, fam? You know, what is the bully community doing with it? What are you doing with it? And what can we do going forward so that we can improve our breed and improve our standings? Well, that's real simple, fam. Not in every litter, every single pup is going to be a quality, show quality, grand champion dog. That's just, I wish I could tell you that that's the way it works, but I could tell you that that's not the way it works. I could care less how much somebody will market themselves as such or try to sell your dog as such. You need to be smart, you need to be cognizant, and you got to start realizing what's going on, fam. All right, not every single pup is going to be show quality. Matter of fact, I categorize dogs in three categories, and I think that as a general rule of thumb, so does the bully community. But either way, I like to share that with you. Okay, I like to put at the very top quality the show quality dog. Okay, I put that there. Now, keep in mind that some people are in this not to show dogs, but for working quality. For all intents and purposes, we'll make that a different topic. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to talk about show quality dogs, about breeding stock, which is the next category down, and then pet quality. Okay, so we got show quality at the top, breeding stock in the middle, and we got pet quality at the bottom. So I'm going to tell you right now, fam. Let's use as an example 10 pup litter. Okay, 10 pup litter. Usually, what I've seen out of a 10 pup litter is you're going to get somewhere around 3 dogs that are going to be show quality. Okay, let me tell you this. 3 dogs at 30% of the 10 puppies, that's usually if you're a top flight breeder, you know what you're doing, and you're maximizing your percentages. It usually does not work up that high. It's usually about 2, okay, and maybe even sometimes 1, okay. But 3, I would say, is pushing it, and it's usually those really good breeders that are able to pull that many out of a 10 pup litter. Okay, then you're pretty much going to get anywhere between 50 to 60% of the dogs. I want to say 50% of the dogs somewhere in the middle. 40 to 50%. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. So you're going to get I don't know, if I said 2 at the top, you're going to get what, about 5 dogs that are going to be pretty much what I call breeding stock. Now, breeding stock obviously is going to be dogs that might have a flaw or a slight flaw, maybe even 2, but it's not something that's prevalent. You also know the bloodline that these dogs are coming from, the pedigree, and you're going to have to make that decision at that point whether you want to use that as breeding stock or not. Maybe your standards are that much higher, but I'm just throwing a general term out there so you can see what I'm talking about. So again, we got show quality dogs. Now, these are dogs that are going to be pretty much flawless to maybe a slight flaw here, slight flaw there, but that's about it. That's going to be a show quality dog. Breeding quality dog, you might even see a full flaw, not a slight flaw, and maybe even a slight flaw to go with it. But nonetheless, you feel that it's a regressive trait and that you're able to breed it out of the dog and you're still able to use the dog, okay? And then you're gonna go down to pet quality. Now, pet quality might have 1 flaw, but the flaw is so prevalent that it's gonna take you, maybe you figure it's gonna take you at least 3 generations to breed it out the dog. You know, as a breeder, you wanna build your reputation, okay? And in order to be able to build your reputation is you want nothing but good things to be coming out of your kennel as far as breeding stock and or if not show stock, okay? So what happens to these two or three pups that are left over that are not necessarily show quality or breed quality, well, they become pet quality, fam. That's what happens. They become pet quality. And a lot of times, countless times, I'll see posts out there. Oh, I got this pup so and such, selling for $2,000, $3,000, whatever the amount is. I'm not going to get into that today, but my whole point is, pet quality dogs are dogs that bells and whistles should be going off immediately once you see them, fam, because you're going to see one main flaw, but you might see two or more flaws the minute you see the dog. You see the dog with a high rear, and you see the dog up front with the east-west. Fam, I could care less what the body type is. I don't care. The dog looks like the Incredible Hulk in a dog body. If you got east-west up front and you got a high rear, okay, that's two major flaws, fam. If you're trying to improve your program, you're trying to clean things up, you don't want to bring that back into your program. It might take you 3 to 4 to 5 generations to clean that stuff up. So automatically, at least here at QBN, if you got east-west and you got yourself a nice high rear, and you have some other slight flaw or whatever, you're going to become a pet quality dog, okay? Nothing wrong with the dog. It's just that it's not show quality, and I don't want it representing QBN. So automatically, I could tell you as far as price range for us, on a pet quality dog, you're looking at anywhere between $500 to $1,000. Okay, $500 to $1,000. Pretty much pet quality dogs. We're just, trying to place them somewhere. We're gonna go ahead and put a spay-neuter contract on that. We may spay or neuter the dog ourselves initially, and basically the $500 to $1,000 is to cover not just the spay-neuter, but also to cover lost income in those particular dogs that could have been either show quality or something else. But either way, we exaggeratively bring down the prices on these dogs so that they can find a good home, and also so that we make sure that they're not reproduced again. Okay, they're gonna make a great pet, but that's it. We don't want their line to keep going, because the other thing I'm going to tell you right now is, since I'm on the topic, not every puppy that comes out of one litter is equal. Okay, now you've heard me talk about phenotype and genotype, and how phenotype is what they're showing, genotype is what they got inside. Some dogs are going to have a monster inside of them, and they're walking around looking like normal like everybody else. Right now, it's not the time for that. Okay, when you see a pet quality dog, if you breed them, is not going to produce like your stock quality dogs, and it's definitely not going to produce like your show quality dogs. Okay, at least the percentages say that that's not going to happen. There's always the unexpected. That's why whenever it comes to genetics, mathematics is not always exact, and that's why they talk about percentages. So the percentages are against you. Usually a pet quality dog, if you breed them again, more than likely, I'm going to say 90% of the time, is not going to produce a clean cut dog for you. And that's the reason why you got to let them move on, let them, join an excellent family, find themselves an excellent home like the rest of your dogs. But them in particular, you don't want them breeding again, because there's a 90% chance that they're going to be reproducing the faults that they currently have. And that's eventually going to bring down the perception of your kennel. You don't want to do that, because the way that you pretty much rise up in the bully game, whether you're following the crowd or you're trying to produce correct dogs, is you want to bring that perception that you're producing good quality dogs, right? So that goes for your pet quality dogs. You see two major faults: east-west, underbite, overbite, stiff stifles immediately. You got to pet home that. And if you see stiff stifles, definitely you gotta take a good look at your program to make sure that that's not going to be something that's going to be prevalent. Because if you got 2 or 3 pups coming out in a litter with stiff stifles, it's going to have to it's something that's going to make you scratch your head. Like I was saying, then you got your stock quality dogs. These dogs, if you really look close enough, you're going to be finding a flaw here or there, but it's not going to be a flaw that's going to totally ruin the dog. Like, say, for example, kink tails. Kink tails, for me, anyways, the minute I see a kink tail, it hasn't happened yet, but if it ever came the time that it did, not only is that dog going to be pet quality, some people would just pretty much cull them, which is another term for pretty much killing them. But definitely mom and dad, I need to sit down and pretty much research everything that I did, because obviously I missed something. For those of you that don't know, kink tail is synonymous with something going on with the spine. Okay. I've heard of some grand champions that have become grand champions and they've had a kink tail, but that's for another show. Nonetheless, I don't want to see a dog with any type of spine issues in my yard. So any dog that would produce kink tail, not just with the pup not being in my yard, but also the parent, I'm gonna have to figure something out with them so they can never reproduce again. You know, that's the way we see it here. And again, like I said earlier, you got your show quality dogs. Now, just because you have a show quality dog, and this is why I mentioned earlier, there's a thing going on with percentages. Just because you have this perfect looking dog does not necessarily mean that that's what it's going to produce. Matter of fact, I've seen in the past, I've seen stock quality dogs produce a lot better dogs than a show quality dog. Okay, not necessarily in my yard, but I have seen it when I observe on the internet what people are posting and whatnot. What these top dogs are, you know, these top show quality dogs are producing, and sometimes they're just not producers. Again, that's a show for that's a show for a whole different episode, but I just wanted to bring that up because people are under the impression that, you know, you can just grab this show quality dog and this show quality dog and throw them together and bam, you're just gonna multiply the show qualityness in what you're producing. It doesn't always work that way, fam. Like I said earlier, everything is based on percentages, but I can tell you, when you see gross flaws, these major flaws on your dogs, and you're seeing 2 and 3 of them, you know, the best thing for you to do is just go ahead and move away from that. It's definitely gonna make your program look a lot better because you're not bringing that blood back in and then having to try and fix those problems later on. So it's a matter of keeping it clean, fam. Keeping it clean. You know, not every dog in your litter is going to be a show quality dog. And for me, now let's go back to the pricing that I was talking about. For me, on the stock dogs, the ones over here in the middle that are going to have a flaw, but yet are able to produce or whatnot, I personally wouldn't cross that line if I'm seeing an evident flaw. Now, if it's a show quality dog, if I'm seeing, you know, a slight flaw here, that it's got all these little things going on with it, and he's checked out good. So he's not a dog that's going to be sick, is going to bring heart problems or anything like that to your kennel. He or she is correct. You've seen the lineage, you've seen the pedigree, and it's something that you want to bring. Yeah, I can go up to $4,000 for that. And again, this is just to give you an idea, fam. You know, I've seen dogs being sold out there for $8,000 that I wouldn't pay more than $2,500 for. There has been some instances I've seen dogs being sold for $3,500 that I would definitely pay $4,000 for. So, you know, the market is what it is. Everybody has an idea of what their dog price is, and they're going to throw it out there. I'm giving you an idea of what I'm thinking, and you could use it, you know, just to have an idea where to start off of if you don't have an idea yet. So I know I keep going roundabout on it, but it's just a lot of times I get people texting me and telling me, hey, talk about price, man, because sometimes, you know, people want to buy a dog and they feel they're about to get ripped off for a dog, or they feel that, you know, sometimes you're getting a mega deal. How do we know if there's never really a standard or somebody that says this is what, you know, what it has to be to pay what? So again, every kennel is different. Okay, I'm only talking about QBN and the way I perceive things. If I have a pet quality pup, I'll let it go for 500 to 1,000. If I have a breed stock, I probably won't go over 2,500. If I have top quality, show quality, I'll go to 4,000. But that's just me. So, fam, let me tell you just real quick. Make sure you download our QBN app. Again, QBN app, whether it's on the Google Play Store or the App Store. We have our upcoming litters there. We have our dogs there. Also, if you want to communicate with us or there's any information you want to give us or take from us, you can do it through there, as well as drop your comments over here.